Hi, Joe Stowell here. Welcome to Daily Strength, and I guess you already know that some good things only happen under pressure. Our text, James 1:3, where James writes, "You know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance." When our kids were growing up, we loved having picnics in the backyard, and no picnic was complete without a plate full of big, juicy watermelon slices. And from our kids' point of view, part of the fun was playing with the seeds. As soon as a wet seed hit the table, they couldn't resist the urge to press it with their thumb and see how far they could make it fly across the table. I can't help but think we're a lot like that when life presses down on us. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? When the pressure gets too intense, we start looking for ways to bail out from under the thumb of circumstances that seem way too much to handle. And all too often, we're tempted to bail in terms of our attitudes, feeling angry, bitter, or even mad at God, or for that matter, anyone else we can blame our problems on. Or we're tempted to bail in our actions by refusing to persevere in righteous ways. Well, thankfully, James offers some great advice about why it's so important to stay under the pressure. He reminds us that God has a purpose in mind when he allows trials to press down on us. Like turning coals into diamonds, some things only happen under a lot of pressure. And staying under the pressure is how God tests our faith in order to make us, according to verse 4, mature and complete. But if we bail in our attitudes or actions under the burden, we interfere with the productive intentions that God has for our lives. Now, it's interesting that the Greek word that James uses in our text for perseverance is hupomeno. It's derived from two Greek words, hupo, which means under, and meno, which means to remain. James is making the point that in order to achieve God's refining goals for our lives, we need to be willing to cooperatively remain under the pressure. I guess it actually boils down to whether or not you want comfort or character. You know, you may think that your life should be a bed of roses, but if that's your take on life, hey, you're in for a big surprise because trouble happens. The issue is not if you will face trials. It's how you will respond to the inevitable pressure that the problems of life bring. It may be that you face pressure at work, and in the face of a seemingly insurmountable project, it's easy to think, if I just fudge a little bit here, I could get this job done faster. Or when the problems at home won't go away, we find ourselves wondering, maybe I'll just leave so I won't have to deal with this anymore. The sin of pride may cause us to respond to problems with thoughts like, hey, I don't deserve this. And soon our attitudes are in the dumper and God's work is derailed. In fact, the next time you're tempted to bail on God and to squeeze out from under the trouble, think of Jesus, who according to Philippians 2:8, humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death. He remained under great suffering for the purpose of making you better. So embrace the process and permit God to do his wonderful work of making you more mature and usable for your good and his glory. Believe me, that kind of pain will be worth the gain.